I'm Paula Mann, and I am a professor here of the theater program. We are a small but very dedicated program. Because the theater program only has a minor, we really are focusing ourselves to become more a vital part of the environmental liberal arts curriculum. The plays that I want to do for main stage productions, I want to be plays that really have something important to say about our society, plays that are important in themselves as works of art. I want it to have something relevant to say to our community of college students, of faculty, and the community of Poultney at large. And for that reason, I think it's really important to do plays that have some real substance to them. I also think it's important to do other kinds of things, such as the political activist theater, because that brings a whole new level of student and faculty, because it's not a standard traditional kind of play. We have 4 different shows that are going up this semester. The Little Shop of Horrors, which is going to be the spring main stage production. It's a funky, crazy musical, and there are over 30 people in that show, including a band. Ben Jankowski is directing it. He's a student here, doing it as his senior project. Another student-directed project, conceived and put together by one of my students as an independent study, the Masque of the Red Death Haunt. It was an interactive haunted house based on the works of Edgar Allan Poe. I think the idea of doing independent studies is important, because that way students come to me and they say, look, I'm not really interested in doing Shakespeare or doing traditional theater. However, I would really love to put together a haunted house. I love haunted houses. And as it turns out, a lot of people love haunted houses, because there's something about being scared that it's interesting for us. Why do we want to be scared? I don't know, but maybe it's that fear of death, facing a form of death but safely. And in a haunted house you do that. You face your demons, you face monsters, you face the dark, the other, but it's very safe because it's all this programmed environment. So she put it together, and that brought a lot of students who normally could care less about going to a traditional theater production. There is a political activist piece called The Running of the Bulls. It has to do with the running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain. It's loosely based on that idea. Only the bulls are not going to be bulls. They are going to be bicycles with bull heads attached to the handlebars. And each of the bicycles is going to have a placard stating the name of a business or a corporation that is not eco-friendly, that is not helping developing countries, and these are going to be looked at as the bulls chasing the people. There will be a parade with children and flowers, and a statue of St. Francis, the patron saint of animals, will be paraded through the streets as well. This past fall, we collaborated with a professional theater company, the Oldcastle Theater Company in Bennington, Vermont, to put on a production of Our Town. Our Town has a cast of over between 20 and 30 people. So we knew that we wanted to mix it up and use students, use professional actors, and we also wanted to use community people, because Our Town is about community. We also had a professional director come in from the Oldcastle Theater Company in Bennington, and that show ran both at Green Mountain College and it ran at the Oldcastle Theater in Bennington. Theater workshop is a very important class because it really is the nuts and bolts of putting together a production. You work either on stage, if you're cast as an actor, as an assistant stage manager, working with the director, gathering props. You can also work on set design, either doing carpentry, painting, putting the set together, help striking at the end of the play. Theater workshop is really designed for all of those elements. It's a way that all these different aspects of the production get done. They provide the teamwork to do it. Acting classes are interesting in that your instrument is yourself, your own voice, your own body, you. And somehow you have to use you in creating another character. And how do you do that? And many of us start out by thinking they have to do funny voices, or it's all in the costumes or the props. And those are all fun things that can be added on, as well as some of the physical changes that you make in your body if you have a limp, or if you are old, or all the different things you can do to change your way of walking, way of moving. But that's not the crux of it. Really, the crux of it is that you look at the play, the text, and through that play you look at who these characters are and what these characters, what their motivation is, what their action is, what do they want in the course of the play, and then you break that down and look at what do they want in the course of each scene. So you're really changing your needs. You start with internal changes of what do I need in this situation? And from that, that's what you go for as an actor, and that's what an actor's action is. And once you have that, the other changes come with it. But that's what we do in acting classes. We really spend a lot of time looking at different scripts, working with text, getting on our feet, blocking it, figuring out the circumstances, where we are, the time of day, time of year, and then through that we discover what is the relationship between ourselves and the other person we're acting with, because acting is about reacting, it's about interacting with others. So the crux of acting really is what we're doing to and or with that other person or people on stage with us. The biggest fear that most people have is the fear of performing or giving a speech in front of other people. Once they really throw themselves into a character, they forget about themselves and they're just in that moment in the scene, and that's really exciting because that's when theater magic takes over. And you're really just doing what the requirements of the scene are, and you're not worrying about how you look to anybody else, how you sound to anybody else. You're just making the scene work. And when that happens, I see a change in confidence. And that's huge. The idea that they feel trusted and safe enough to go up in front of a group of people and perform something. And even if they know it's not perfect, it's not where they necessarily want it to be, just the sense that they have some grasp of the material and they're not afraid to go up and make the effort and try. And that's really big for a lot of people. And people even look different. It's really interesting how you can see people in a classroom setting or walking around, and then you see them on stage with that extra energy and that whatever it is, that character that they've put on, and they really look different. Their features look different. They sound a little bit different. You see them as an audience member in a different light, and it's transforming, which ultimately is what you want in theaters. You want to be transformed, and you want to take your audience on a journey and transform them so that they are different by the end of that play, that production, than they were when they started, because they've been taken somewhere. So you can see that even though we're a very small department, we do a lot of different kinds of things, and we involve a lot of students, so we're very proud of what we do.